to level. What you had?
Wait, Imega. Nachigi and Chimabaya, Nahisilla, Dutisilla, and Chibera did the way. She didn't need the level. She did not. At Sibiru, Thompson, you know what you do.
Just
Mishu. Joe Menamachi. The Namshia Chisuchibeas and Damachi Jodanime. The Loshility.
Uncle, oh, Cham Gobesa.
Kuchba.
Rook Gim Jab Theodore Yacha Babisella Union down for the Virgin.
Stop jumping over me, or else you won't go down.
Look, Asim didn't close her book and now she will fail. Why? Because the devil read her book and stole her knowledge.
Get out, you two.
Mama was very disturbed. She saw a big black snake in her dream. So she went to Paris Temple to consult an astrologer. Come and eat your breakfast.
Ajimbema, I need a haircut.
Oh, okay. Let me check the date. Oh, it's Seiji. It's not a good day.
But I need a haircut.
We'll go next Sunday. Come and eat your breakfast and get ready. Today we're gonna meet a JoJo!
Oh, hey, hi guys. You come to visit JoJo.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be careful. There are bees under those bushes there.
But Jojo, these things really hurt.
Oh.
Why did you chase them away?
I don't chase them away because they're supposed to be very lucky. It's an old superstition, you know, a Bhutanese superstition. Did you know that? No. Oh, even in the old days in old ancient Rome, when I used to study law, they used to have a special thing just for bees. When a bee comes and settles in your house, it's considered a very good omen. And we believe that it brings lots of good luck. Okay. And by the way, how's your football? Then Shudha? Are you playing for the school team now?
Yes.
Oh, good. You're a keeper. Yeah, I was a keeper also, so you're taking after me. Have you heard the dogs go like that? Oh! You know, somebody might die. Really? So don't, yeah, really. And do they teach you about all our traditional beliefs and all in school? No, they don't. Oh, you must let me tell you some of our superstitions. Actually, in the West they say superstition. But in Bhutan, I would personally prefer to call them traditional beliefs. You know, there was a farmer. There's a farmer, and one day he had a huge farm and he made a lot of money, and then he couldn't sell just in his village because it was too much. So he wanted to go and sell it and make a lot of money and bring it back. So he hired 100 horses, and then he hired 50 men, all to help him to pack the loads and everything. And then he set off on a journey to this big dzongkha far away. And then when he didn't consult on what day he should travel. So when he started the journey, and unfortunately for him, his journey started on the 14th day of our lunar calendar. And when you count like this, you have Tse Chi, Tse Ni, Tse Sum, Tse means date, huh? Sechi, tseni. And every time the date falls on this part of your hand, it's a bad day to travel. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So which days don't you travel on?
8 and 6.
Yes, 8 and 2. Then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now this day 14th is known as Tashigacha. Tashigacha. That means your horse will die and your saddle will break. And this is what happened to this farmer when he traveled. He set off on the 14th. Then there was a big landslide and all his horses got killed and all his farm produce got buried in the landslide and got ruined. And he didn't make any money and he came crying back home. And did you know, have you heard of Milarepa? The great saint, he was a great yogi saint. And even he, you know, he had a very prized possession, a clay pot in which he used to cook all his meals. And very special meals which used to help him to meditate and all. And he traveled his journey, and that was on the 14th he traveled. And on that day when he traveled, he lost his most prized possession. He lost that clay pot. But you know, all these traditional beliefs, there's a way to get out of it. If you can't travel on the 14th, then you, on the 13th you pack all your goods, no? All your kuchato, pura dam mo. And then you go and say goodbye to everybody and you pretend to start your journey. Once you have started your journey, it's okay. So, but because sometimes you have to go on the 14th to be somewhere. So you pretend that you start your journey on the 13th. No? And then on the 13th you leave your house with your bags and everything. Today, of course, in the old days we had to ride the horse and go out. But today we go in our car, you know, and then we'll drive just out of the gate about 100 yards and then we come back to the house. So you have started your journey, and when you started your journey, and the next day we are just continuing our journey.
It is said that popular beliefs spring from ancient knowledge whose beginnings are built on the fear of the unknown. They form an enduring set of beliefs around objects and situations, demanding an individual to respond in some preferential manners. They deal with large themes shaping our consciousness, holding our attention with its terrifying implications as depicted by empty vessels as well as the delightful promises as with the sight of milk. These beliefs may have falsehood and contradictions. Some may disagree to those superstitions as foolish, irrational and old-fashioned, but no one can claim that they don't exist. It is this touch of rusticity, this quaint antiquity of the medieval age which can still be very alluring amidst the growing fascination of modernity, steeped in their own strangeness and bizarre twists and turns, that popular beliefs can still be fascinating to the 21st century minds. I am joined by Mr. Jambay Dorji, who is an engineer by profession. He writes on ancient wisdom in modern context for the present and the future generation. He is also the author of 2 books, The Palace of Good Fortune and Good Luck Vases, as well as the astrologically auspicious aspects in building construction. Thank you so much for being here now. So to begin with, what does superstition mean in our society?
In a society like ours, where we continue to live with myth and legends, superstition do play a significant role in the life of many Bhutanese. Their belief have often led them to success, and similarly forewarnings through such beliefs have adverted the probable dangers or misfortunes happening to them. So superstition means a lot to our society.
Yes, it is very evident that superstition does mean a lot to the Bhutanese society and the Bhutanese people in general, but we would like to know on a personal note, what does superstition mean to you?
To me, superstition is something that I believe with no rational or explicable reasons.
At times, people seek refuge from religion, for an instance, by building a chotin where it is considered a bad place. So, how can you differentiate religion and superstitions?
Religion is defined as the practice and worship of enlightened beings and the principle of their teachings, whereas superstition is a belief based on different experiences that are considered due to the supernatural influences based on such beliefs.
Is there any belief, according to you, which has not survived over time, and why do you think so?
One of the noticeable belief that have not survived our time is going for haircut after sunset. This was not done in the past, believing that if you do so, you're going to live a short life. The probable reason why it is not practiced today could be because of the materialistic chores that often lead to time constraints, or possibly because people no longer correlate the impact of living short with such beliefs.
And to conclude, is there anything you would like to add on this topic?
Given the responsibility that all of us have towards preserving our rich ancient wisdom, I would like to urge everyone to carry forward our ancient wisdom along with your contemporary wisdom. The only thing to be mindful about is superstition may sound good in wisdom, but not practical always.
In a time where myth was more than mere stories and magic was the tool of the powerful, ordinary people relied on the signs from nature and supernatural powers. In that time, a man called Dorji lived with his parents and his newly-wed wife Chimi. The wife was with child and the whole family was happy to hear the news. One day, Dorji was tending to his horses in the stable when Chimi came with his lunch. He saw her and said, "Careful, dear, don't step on the rein, otherwise your pregnancy will be prolonged." His wife smiled at his warning, but walked around the rope and gave him his lunch. They discussed their future and Dorji said, "I think I should conduct some business. Our child will be born soon and we need to make sure that we can provide a comfortable life for him." Just then he saw a frog and he pointed it out to his wife. They smiled at each other, knowing that it was a good omen, as frogs symbolize abundance. Dorji told his parents about his plan, and they decided to consult an astrologer, and a date for travel was set on the 1st, as the unfortunate date of Tashigacha would fall on the 2nd. The travel date was sooner than expected, but plans had been made with his counterpart. That night, Dorji had a wonderful dream, wherein he was riding a brilliant white horse up a mountain. He woke up the next morning and ate a hearty meal, and carrying his backpack, he bid farewell to his family and started his journey. On his way, he met a woman carrying a bucket full of milk. They exchanged greetings, and she told him that she was on her way to offer the milk to the village temple. She wished him a good journey, and he thanked her for the meeting. On his way, he saw a small stream flowing in a place that had not been there before. He drank from the stream and refilled his flask. He continued on his journey singing merrily, knowing that his endeavors would be successful. Whether it was a mere coincidence or the work of his good fortune, Dorji had a successful business, and he lived a happy and prosperous life with his family.
According to Sir James Fraser's book, The Golden Bough, he has analyzed the principles of thoughts on which magic is based on two laws, the law of contact and the law of similarity. The law of contact says that things which have been in contact with each other continue to act on one another, and the law of similarity says that an effect resembles its course. In Bhutan, it is believed that a person can be helped or harmed by making use of anything that has been in contact with. For an instance, after cutting hair, the Bhutanese people in general believe that their hair either has to be burnt or thrown in the river. In case it is thrown carelessly where people frequent, the power, wangta and the luck senum of that individual will steadily fade away each time someone stamps on it. This explains the law of contact. Likewise, we believe that if we nurture flowers and offer them at the altars, we will not only be gifted with beautiful children in this life, but we will also be reborn with beautiful features. Through these examples, we come to know that these beliefs are not exactly based on blind faith, but they have some hidden logic within them. I have with me Dr. Phuntsho to talk on superstitions and its various aspects. Doctor is the leading scholar in Bhutan and teaches on Buddhism and Buddhist studies in the country and abroad. He is also the author of books History of Bhutan and the autobiography of Terten Pemalingpa. To begin with, on a personal note, how strong is your belief in superstition?
I'm not a very superstitious person. But as a scholar on Bhutan's culture, I would say that the use of the word superstition, the English term superstition, is slightly complicating the matter. In the Bhutanese cultural context, especially looking at it from the viewpoint of Buddhism, we live in the world of namto. That would be the closest term to superstition. And there are many degrees of namto. Some can be very excessively irrational or unexplainable, that people may, if translated to English, call it superstition. But most other namtos are actually useful thoughts, well-founded, rational, reasonable thoughts as well. So when you look at the concept of superstition from a Bhutanese perspective, from a Buddhist perspective, there is no clear-cut definition of where reality ends and where superstition begins, because our world of namto or conceptual thinking is a very blurred one, that you can have a level, especially if you look from the level of the enlightened Buddhas, everything is a superstition. Now, after all the education I received, both modern, secular, scientific education and Buddhist education is full of rationalism. So after these two forms of education, I am not really superstitious. But that's not to say I have transcended the world of namto.
We feel that with the coming of modernity, the superstitious beliefs are fading away. So where, according to you, it stands today in our society?
Well, it's not only just modern education. In fact, Buddhist education, which came to Bhutan many, many centuries ago, have led to the decline of totally irrational superstitious beliefs. So if you believe in something that had no reasoning, no explanation, I think systems like modern education and science, but also Buddhism, they negate, they deconstruct such beliefs. So our traditional superstitious beliefs, I would say, have declined since the arrival of both Buddhist rationalism and modern scientific rationalism.
What makes the belief system in superstition for the people to literally act upon it? For an example, when people see an empty vessel, their subconscious mind already makes up that it is not a good thing. So what do you think is the reason for that?
So first one has to understand that our world is a very complex phenomenon.
Yes.
If I were to pursue a project, that project requires so many conditions, so many factors. My own, say, resources for the project would be a very important factor, but also my psychological status of the mind. So if I am embarking on a long business journey, and suddenly I, right at the front of my door, encounter somebody carrying an empty vessel, because I am from a culture where having something empty is negative, where you are born and brought up to think that something empty is negative, I'm influenced by that negative vessel psychologically. So it sort of gives rise to some degree of pessimism in me. I'm already psychologically not so prepared and ready to take up that project. So to that extent, there is that effect, because a lot of things have to come together for a project to be successful. And if some acts or some things undermine some of those factors, then they will lead to the failure of the project. So I think there is this connectivity that we don't see necessarily, obviously. So a lot of what we think are pure superstitions actually have sometimes a very good rationale behind them. Now, some superstitions I think would be there for pure practical reasons. Like in the old days, Bhutanese would believe that they shouldn't cut nails in the dark at home. You imagine cutting your nail with a large knife or a small pen knife at home in the dark where you didn't have electricity. The chances of cutting your finger is very high. You'd rather do it during daytime, outdoors, with whatever equipment you have. So you can look at the practical point of that and see parents sort of made up an arbitrary rule saying it's bad to cut nails in the dark in the house, mainly to avoid unnecessary accidents.
And to finally end our session, anything you'd like to add on this?
Well, the Buddha's message is that we should break through this cocoon of Namto we live in. The ordinary world is all caught up in superstitions. And not only superstitions like you shouldn't go on a bad day or you should cut your nails at night, but superstitions that this is him and this is her, she is fair, the other one is rich and poor, and so all these thoughts we have are considered as sort of namtos or beliefs. And only by getting rid of this constriction of belief that we have, only by transcending the belief system, we will feel fully liberated. So full freedom lies in transcending all these belief systems.
With the advancements in science and its cold rejection and rationality, even after passionate struggles, neither science nor faith have succumbed to or won over one another. We see it embedded in our daily affairs, feel it ingrained in our own paranoia, phobia, and buried deep in our private thoughts. The lives as depicted in the daily chores of the Bhutanese people in general are still greatly influenced by this popular belief. Be it a simple farmer or a sophisticated urban dweller, the invisible force of beliefs continue to reign supreme in the lives of the Bhutanese.
Okay, class. Heart to heart.
Ready to start.
1, 2.
Eyes on you.
1, 2.
Eyes on you.
So are you all ready to get your result?
Yes.
Yes. I will call up the name. Then you'll come and get your paper. Alright? First I want to call Jigsaw here. Jigsaw, your marks is 19 out of 20. Is it a good marks?
Yes.
Yes. Does he deserve a cheer?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, what cheer? Now ask them.
Mickey Mouse cheers.
Make. Nicely. Give him cheer. Nicely. With the action.
Miska, Muska, Mickey Mouse.
Thank you for giving me cheers.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, next name Chiring Choden. Come and collect your paper. Chiring Choden, you have got 19.5 out of 20. Very good marks, no? Is it? Does he deserve a cheer?
Yes. What cheers do you want?
Rocket cheers.
Look, Asim didn't close her book and now she will
Okay,
read.
next name Pema Yangchin Choden.